Well, it used to be our fault. It was
did.
the show, right? It was Afterburner. It was our fault.
We were taking it hard. It was tough. It was hard on us. People were telling us not to do the show.
The thing about them playing poorly again is no one's blaming us anymore. The Flames are taking full responsibility, or at least fans are making them fully responsible. Welcome to Afterburner. There's Pinder. It's Boomer. After a 4-3 Coyotes win in extra time.
The dedication to lose by one remains strong for this team.
Yeah.
It's a 7-game winning streak against the Coyotes finally snapped.
Yeah, we'd all been waiting. We knew it was a matter of time. It's frustrating, obviously, on a number of levels, because even maybe this is just if you were still hanging and clinging to hope that there was going to be a heater and you were going to get a chance to get in, you had to have two tonight.
Yep.
Nashville wins. I know Winnipeg loses. Maybe for some people, this will be able to kind of kick the can down the road a little bit.
Points is good. Yeah.
You know, but it's just very, very hard to watch. It was the last time they were in Arizona. We watched it. We were at the casino. We watched it together, and
there you go. Yeah,
they were dominating the first period and down, and it felt like they deserve a better fate here. This is going to come around, and then it did, and they won going away. I don't know that I felt like they were any more deserving than the Coyotes. Who did the right team win? What did you make of the effort and the, I guess, just the response here from the Flames in what has to have been a must-win game?
I thought the effort was considerably worse than what we saw on that night where they won 6-3 amid another desert road trip where they went to Vegas following the contest. That night, puck luck was not on their side. The hockey gods made them earn it. They got down 3-1. There was an edge in the shot clock. There was one tonight, but that one actually also represented scoring chances. The scoring chances were soft tonight. It was not a decidedly strong effort. They were incredibly sloppy. I think of multiple breakaway chances early against Nazem Kadri. I don't know what that's probably his worst game as a Flame. It just my initial reaction without looking at the data. Bad turnovers, trying to do too much on his own, gifting the puck away, and it, fitting that that's how the game ends as well. Not that it's directly him, but
Nazem Kadri in the first period turns the puck over, and it was Dauphin who goes in on a breakaway, and Markstrom makes the save there.
Yep.
He gave the puck away on the Keller goal,
yep.
And then on the game-winning goal in overtime, he's, I guess, he's on the forecheck or whatever he's doing, but they just turn it up the ice, and Valimaki gets the shot off, and the rebound is there. I feel bad for Markstrom because he makes the save, and you know what he's trying to do? He's trying to bat the puck away, and he just didn't have it. But yeah, it was. You could pick on a bunch of people, but I'm with you. It was learning a lot with some of these new players, and we mentioned it. I brought it up a couple weeks ago, and you were saying, this is kind of a Kadri thing. He's not free of mistakes, glaring mistakes.
Well, unselfish.
I don't know. I don't even know if it's high risk. Yeah, I don't know if it's high risk, high reward. There's just some times where he's making very bad errors that are costing the team. Tonight, for sure, his worst, I think, or at least the most glaring.
Sorry, I'm all over there.
No, I keep babbling. I just keep going on it. As far as his numbers, he played 14, 17, -1, 4 shots. But yeah, he turned the puck over twice, once for a breakaway, second time for what's the go-ahead goal at the time, and then probably could have played the game winner a little better.
Yeah. Wolverine, can you hit the far light? Just one of them. Thank you. So I was thinking Huberdeau will frustrate you because he won't shoot sometimes, and he's not selfish enough. Just the actual light, the far one. Whereas when Kadri is trying to do too much, it's just, I'm going to dance everyone. I'm going to toe drag this guy. I know I'm at the blue line, but I'm going to try to make a move here. Like, just gain the zone, Naz. And it was almost like their worst performers tonight were their biggest veterans. That's perfect. Like, sorry, right on the fly here.
No, that's all right. You got to look good, Ryan. It's
just this huge shadow there. We've never done that before. We're only like one half the room.
But it's after. You know what? These are dark times, Ryan.
These are dark times. We won't fucking gas all these things. But I thought it was a lot of their veterans that were the worst tonight. Like, I think Backlund has tried, tested, and true with his effort. I thought Lindholm was working and couldn't get any breaks. But Huberdeau wasn't good. Kadri wasn't good. Zadorov, I thought, struggled a ton tonight. I thought Mackenzie Weegar didn't have a good night. Tanev and Hanifin have been really good together. I don't think tonight was a banner night for them. And I know that Darryl would love mentioning it when the kids don't. Well, I know some of the kids weren't ready. Like, these are the fucking guys. These are the guys you brought in to win with. And why are they the ones that you see their games drop significantly when they play a bottom feeder? It's infuriating.
You hear it all the time about your best players have to be your best players. But it's been such a weird season to watch. I guess if you grab the stats sheet and you look at it, that's one way to determine who the good players are. But it's been so consistent and upside down, or I guess just all over the place. Who are their best players from any one night? Nazem Kadri, you mentioned him, and they showed it on the broadcast. 12 games, no goals.
That's trying to do everything too.
It kind of hits you because they walked through it. For Coleman, he almost had that one or whatever, but he didn't. So no goals in 6 games, but he's been somewhat impactful. We love Dubes, but 6 games with nothing. Pelche, 6 games, nothing. Mangiapane, 10 games, no goals.
Oh, yeah, tough night too. I should have not excluded him from that prior comment.
That's 5 or 6 of your top 6 that haven't scored in friggin' weeks.
Those are your highest paid guys. That's pretty much it. I mean, I think Toffoli and Backlund have been your 2 forwards where night in, night out, you know what you're getting. And there's nights where there's mistakes and there's nights where they're snake bitten, but the effort's always there and you can tell it burns in them. And I thought it was telling when Rasmus Andersson mentioned that Backlund's their leader. And I think that's a nice tip of the cap to Michael Backlund, because we've watched him come in as a rather meek, young, soft-spoken, quiet, high-hyped rookie way back when, but now he is a leader. But I think it's also indictment of some of those other guys that we mentioned. Why are they not able to be leaders in this group, or at least not to the same significance of Backlund? It feels like I'm diminishing the comment about Backlund, but like, Jesus, you don't bring in a guy who's 32 for 7 years if this is what year 1 looks like. Mm-hmm. Be better.
Warner said it, I don't know, 2 months ago. You don't see them excited. You don't see them enjoying each other's company very often. They just don't seem like that's this team. And you sure don't see them pissed off very often. We saw Kadri in a very important part of a hockey game get himself tossed going into overtime. He was pissed off there. You just don't, I don't know what we're watching. We've said it over and over again, and obviously we're getting the answer. That it's a dysfunctional team. It's not a good team, or it's not just, there's some good players here. Yeah. But this combination and how they're slotted and everything it's not their season, and it's not just because of goaltending. It's just a bad mix. So I don't know what you do. I don't want to blow the doors off right now with whatever it is, 15 games left. We'll have lots of time, and then the early part of summer to talk about it. But it's hard to believe you have all the off-season changes you had a year ago. Gaudreau and Tkachuk and Monahan, all these guys left. You need to do it again. I know we've talked about you've got to run it back. You got to just hope that this was a thing. I feel like that's a little naive to assume that they're just going to come back after a summer off and be like, last year was last year, this year's this year.
No, there has to be change.
There's got to be some real change from top to bottom and off the ice as well. There's got to be some changes too.
No, I mean, look, the GM, we don't know. He doesn't have a contract, and I'm not here saying that Brad should be fired. After a night like tonight, everyone wants the GM fired, but when they win 2 games in 40 or in 28 hours in Dallas and Minnesota, it's the opposite. The coach has got a lot of blood on his hands this year. I think what's going to force their hand is that they're capped out and they still have roster spots to fill. And if Oliver Shillington's coming back, you know how Darryl views him. He and Tanev were a second pair. Like, you don't need 5 top 4 defensemen. And you're not going to, this is where we butted heads a little bit a while ago, but I'm sorry, you're not going to carry 7 guys in on UFAs. You're going to move some, and it might not be for a pick because we're not rebuilding, but you might move, let's say a Toffoli for a guy that's got 2 years of term that might not be as good, but it's a little younger.
We butted heads. And again, just to put a bow on it, it's not that I disagree with you. I'm just saying this team, this dysfunctional at times team that we've watched since 04, this is how they do business. They just don't. They don't do it. I just can't. I don't. It's something would have to change.
I'm saying, like, do what Vancouver's done. So you move out Horvat, but you don't use that first. You immediately turn that into Filip Hronek. Like, that's the type of move they'll do because it'll help them get under the cap for next year. They don't want to stockpile future picks because they still, are pot committed, to your point of, like, this is a contention window. But I think and there's a great article. I think it was Mike Gold put it up earlier today. What's Elias Lindholm's extension going to cost? You have that conversation this summer. You do.
Oh, of course you do.
Yeah. So if you think that, like, they're going to run it back, they can't afford to run it back. You can't add Lindholm at, another $4 million a year and have the shit fit in 6 months, in a year's time. Never mind that Pike had the comment. They're already $1 million over the cap if it's going to 83.5 next year. And that's not with a full roster. Like, there has to be change. And to be fair, I've sort of been like, let's let it play out. Let's let it play out. The more you watch, the more it's really hard to think there doesn't need to be change here. Is that not the case for you? Like, now that they're getting goaltending and they're still falling flat against shitty teams, and I'm going to do it for the show tomorrow, the record against bottom feeders, it's fucking awful. They are better against playoff teams than non-playoff teams. They are worse against the bottom 6 teams in the league, I would wager, than the top 6 teams in the league. That speaks not to talent. That speaks to the exact opposite. That speaks to will. You're talented enough to hang, they play Boston tough in Boston, empty net goal, they lose by 2. They spot them a 2-0 lead on 2 shots. They come back, have a lead, get a point in overtime. They've played good teams very well this year. But your inability to take out the scraps, these garbage teams that, yes, are loose and having fun, but you're more talented than. That's the Achilles heel. And that tells me that this group does need a shakeup. Because we've seen it over and over. They haven't cleaned it up.
And you will see guys like Lucic. I see on the comments and the chats are coming in from Facebook and from YouTube. Lucic will go, listen, we've taken runs at Lucic. They aren't a Milan Lucic away from unless he's kicking the shit out of everybody before the game, and they're like, that's not changing everything. I don't know. Honestly, I don't, like you said, blood on his hands. I don't see it changing if Sutter's back. I don't know that. I just don't think that. I don't know that the GM's back because he doesn't have a contract. I don't. The coach, does he want to do this again? Is this, like, I know he's got this contract extension, but it's not working, because I'm with you 100%. It was for a while. Maybe it's because they're power play, or maybe it's because they're goaltending, or maybe it takes time for new guys to fit in. Enough. Yeah. They are what their record says they are, and it's a non-playoff team.
Yeah.
They are a non-playoff team. They're not making the playoffs. They couldn't beat the Ducks, and they couldn't beat the Coyotes. Stop. Yeah. Right? Like, enough. We can be diplomatic about it. Geez, they can't go on a winning streak.
They have won 3 in a row since early December. And we talked about it with Frank a week ago. What does it take for Calgary Flames fans to have a rational conversation about the playoffs? And he said 5 wins in a row. Well, here's your fucking 5 in a row. You didn't lose to the Ducks. You didn't lose to the Coyotes. There it is. Yeah. That's all you had to do to get to 5. Now, I'm not suggesting the others were easy. There's some quality, tough 4 points and 2 nights on the road there with a lot of travel in the middle. But that's what's so infuriating about this group. And to be fair, that's why this group probably does need a serious shake. Mix in financial stuff, mix in that potentially there's a new GM, mix in that there's got to be a serious conversation about the missteps of the coach. I don't think it's a boring offseason. I'm kind of with you. Like, I don't know that you're doing the blockbusters for guys in their 30s trades this summer, but I would expect lots of action.
I do wonder. Yeah, and we'll have lots of time to talk about it. But whether the team decides that he's not coming back or he decides he's had enough, if Treliving is done, you need a new general manager. What GM worth his salt is coming here to work with Darryl? With how Valimaki, 2 assists tonight, another, so that's what, 7 to 8, like, he's been point per game for the last couple of weeks. Like, you just lost him for nothing.
He was going to be for 5 years.
I just wonder.
Turned into it.
I just wonder if you're looking at a new GM and a new coach, and if Darryl goes farming and Brad goes wherever, and you just turn the page. Because I don't think a GM is going to come here knowing how Darryl controls the lineup. Who
Well,
would want to do it?
So who will want to do it is someone that's never been GM before, that's been making
Yeah.
200 grand a year, that's going to make $1.5 million or $2 million being a GM. That's who will do it.
I
And
guess-
I'll say this, like, if your first GM opportunity, it's usually something's gone fucking seriously wrong, and you get to fire a coach or two, but you might not do it right away. Like, I think of Mike Greer. He walked into that financial mess that Doug Wilson left, and it was not without some success. They made the playoffs like 16 out of 17 years, but that's his first job. I mean, Montreal is the first job for Kent Hughes. That's, capped out and bad with dead bodies everywhere. No more fucking Carey pricing. Like, you take it because it's a GM job and there's only 32. But I get your point. Like, Steve Yzerman ain't coming here. Kyle Dubas, if he's a free agent, he ain't coming here if Darryl's here. I mean, what you're going to do is have another green GM, which is the history of this organization, because it's cheap, but it also means it's going to be another guy making his first mistakes, not a seasoned veteran here. And that's a problem if they're going to go that way. And look, there's a world where I could certainly be on side with Treliving coming back as a general manager of this group. But to your point, it's not us saying he should go. It's more reading the room. Darryl's got an extension in his pocket, and the owner hates paying two guys to do one job. If he's going to if he's not going to bring back one of them, it's the guy that doesn't have the deal. Every time they fire a coach, they go bargain bin. Like, even if they do convince Darryl to go away, it's either 2 years or 3 years on the extension. I believe it's 2. It's probably north of $2 million a year. Are you actually?
And you can negotiate that stuff, right? If he just wants to, if he wants to go farming, and it's because Brad won't come back. I can't imagine Brad comes back, even if Darryl's there, right? It's untenable.
Well, and if you wonder where
it's been
the allegiance is with the owner, they both talked about extensions this past summer and who got it and who didn't.
And if there's a guy that Murray Edwards would pay to not be there, he'd be fine paying Darryl for what Darryl did back 20 years ago. All of that, you negotiate your way out of it, and you move on. I do wonder.
I see Darryl as too stubborn to walk away. I think he'd have to be told. It's also a lot of money. But you're right. There's a very strong relationship there. Stronger than the GMs, I'd suggest.
So Winnipeg lost to Carolina 5-3. Nashville beats Detroit 2-1. So with the single point, it's now. I mean, what are we doing? Why am I even on one breath? I'm telling you. Winnipeg's got 79. Nashville 75. They got 5 back.
But they're 5 back, and Nashville have what, 3 games in hand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My Betway bet of the day came through. I had Clayton Keller anytime goal.
Whatever. Okay. And yeah, Keller reminded you of what the Flames didn't have going right tonight. Their best player was their best player. Their highest paid forward looked really fucking good.
Yeah. And they got a break, right? The no goal.
And went off the skate.
Boyd.
Like, come on. What did they actually generate tonight?
So they got a break on that one to be tied. Now, was it off? Yeah, was it off the
yes, it was off a skate. It was credited back in, as we all thought it should have been.
Because I was like, maybe did he get a stick on it? No, it went off his foot and in.
Right off a skate. Also, if you have the bingo card, it's another curling reference for brick ball. See,
was it really?
Everything's going curling. He named some old skip from the 70s, draw weight into the net, off the skate.
You know what? One of my, I was thinking if we were going to do one. Here's the thing: you can't do the bingo card without offending the guys who are doing the broadcasts.
Well, Rick, because that's not a shot at Rick. That's a funny one, and I think he'd enjoy the bingo card.
Because Kelly you can easily.
Can he see that the whole way? That's another one on the card.
Well, with Kelly or for both.
Yes.
Right or left, flank. Somebody's always working the flank. Okay, he's on the right flank. The right flank. I mean, it's just a given. It should almost be the free spot on the bingo card. But
on the middle, flank in the middle.
How about our boy Walker Duehr? That's my. I don't want to give it away.
Duehr. You know what?
Give it away, but he might be my guy tonight.
You want to go there right now?
Let's go there.
Fucking go.
Cheers of the game brought to you by BK Bowfort Liquor, located on the Trans-Canada Highway across from Winsport beside McDonald's. Stop in, stock up on your way to the mountain, say hi to Mandeep. Maybe he's got a little kind of a thing there. You put your name. Mandeep, you can't keep up to it. He's always doing something. He dropped off a care package for us at the studio there. Did you see in the back? There's some stuff.
I had to drop it off when I was hungover as hell and or sick. So I think by Friday I'll be ready to tackle that.
Days that end in Y, Ryan. Days that end in Y. So our cheers of the game, we raise a glass and a toast. He loves Arizona. Scored there last time. Scores
Beauty.
again tonight. Walker that boy Walker Deer.
Cheers, Walker.
Love that guy. Get him in there. Keep him in there. Love him. I want a 71 jersey.
Honestly,
I want a Duehr jersey.
get the pick from this sad sack group.
Right?
Like, he's not cheating you on effort. He can shoot it a bit, and he flies. Like, let's go.
Walker Deer. 10 minutes, 10 seconds, 2 shots, 1 goal. He's doing the best he can. He's doing the most with what he's getting. It's not a ton of time. He's out there. He's skating hard. He's making things happen. He's got Luch and Lewis out there. Yeah. God almighty. So that's my cheers of the game. Big old Walker Deer. Where are you going?
I'm going with you. I mean,
yeah.
And that's not a good thing.
You know, here's the other one that I was thinking.
Tonight, and you were battling the other night. I was Markstrom. Like he's working. His line mates, I thought, could have been a little sharper, but he was good. I
was gonna maybe go. And I don't mind, whatever. I didn't mind Huberdeau. He's creating, and you know what? If Lindholm scores at the end of regulation, that's the game-tying goal and a beautiful assist on the game winner. I don't know how Lindholm missed that one.
I thought he was invisible till that tip in, and then he sort of came to life a bit.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he ends up that chance after the Lindholm chance where he goes flying over the pad into the crossbar there. But it's just soft backhand, neutral zone, cross ice turnovers. You're like, oh, like that would drive me nuts as a peewee coach. Like Darryl, you can see why they don't play the game the same way. Do not throw soft backhands through the neutral zone. This is like watching Todd Bertuzzi down the home stretch.
Well, I'm looking at the chats, and there's Justin. Justin he's nailed it right in the head. It's a double Duehr. It's a double Duehr. For the cheers of the game, BK Bowfort Liquor. I know Mandeep was. I don't want to get us in trouble, because everyone's watching what we're doing, Ryan. Everybody's watching what we're doing. But Mandeep had a nice little kind of a care package, a nice little thing that he might give away to somebody who listens or watches Afterburner. God forbid we do something nice for people. But hey, look at this prize pack.
Wow!
Look at eggs.
That guy, jeez.
There's Mandeep and Jerome Ginlet. Jerome Ginlet did not endorse this giveaway or this.
He did endorse the booze and BK Bowfort Liquor, though. He's smiling in the photo. He's not apprehended there. There's no gun in his back.
You know what? Mandeep would score 30 in the show with Iggy.
Oh,
hey,
man.
He's got those silky mitts.
I mean, if Dean McCammon could hang with that top line, so could.
Oh yeah.
So could
Salius? Come on.
Yeah,
Mandeep could do it. On Twitter at BK Liquor, on Instagram at BK Bowfort Liquor. BK Bowfort Liquor with our cheers to the game. A double Duehr for Walker.
A couple shots of Duehr. Couple shots of Walker.
Yeah.
Walker special 71. 2 shots, barkeep.
Walker Duehr. Oh, there's nothing.
Asking
I was
questions
going to say,
about,
this will
Coronado. Just still, his season's not over. You can't send the jet yet. He's going to get in the tournament. It's not going to be a lot of runway left, but definitely sign
this will shock you. Not a lot of positivity flowing through on the chat tonight.
Really, eh?
Not a lot.
Well, all you need to do, take those standings, turn them around, Dino.
Yeah, I know.
If they really want to start losing some games, they're going to get a good player. Look, I know that it feels lost and it's like you're trapped in a 5-year cage here. Coronado's a very good prospect. Wolf looks like one of the best goalies not in the NHL if he isn't exactly just that. Connor Zari's had a really nice season. Jeremy Poirier is piling up points. I don't know what that means at the NHL level, but he is, filling the stat sheet as a defenseman. If this pick is in the top 15, I mean, we see kids in the top 15 step in right away. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but this isn't a 4 years and wait type thing. Right. And
it's, and you know what? It's as much as we're down on this year's team, there are some good pieces that are there. It's just not, it's just
Pelkey's had a really nice, baptism in the NHL.
God, I mean, I just feel for Mangiapane. He damn near turned the puck over in overtime.
I know.
He can't buy one. what's that? Can't score in a. I don't know.
With a fistful of 50s and
fist, yeah. Bag full of nickels, something like
he
that.
couldn't get a bottle of Johnny Walker's at Mandeep's
God
liquor
almighty.
store with a fist of 50.
And it's not just it's Mangiapane. It's 11 games without a point. That's
and that's with Backlund piling up points at even strength.
You're going a month without getting a point. You had 35 goals last year. There's some dark times for that kid. You know, yeah, he got paid, but he's sitting at home thinking, what the hell have I got to do? What's happened? What did I do wrong?
Well, and I don't even know that what you sort of shrugged off isn't a big part of it. He's been a guy that's been grinding for every single deal. And then there's ARB, and then we're going to keep you on a two-way, and we're going to grind you for the extra 10 grand. He finally gets paid, and now it's his, worst season versus expectations of his career. That happens all the time in this league. I know the extensions haven't kicked in, but like Huberdeau's felt the weight of the world early here. I don't know if Kadri's feeling it. He's just not playing well, but you'll see it. Like Jack Campbell never really got paid until this past summer. I'm not saying Jack Campbell and Mangiapane are the same thing, but it's just, we see this a lot in pro sports. It's whether it's pressure you're putting on your own self or something else. I don't think it's kicking his feet up with Mangiapane. That's not who he is, but I'm not surprised that in the first year of a new deal, it's cooled off for him.
There's a question from Cole off of YouTube. What kid wants to come to this train wreck, bury them in the minors until some team claims them off waivers? Valimaki sure looks like an NHLer now.
Yeah,
I'm not to that end, but you know what? The point is, and we talked about it. If you're Matthew Coronado or Dustin Wolf or whatever, after you hear the stuff Darryl did about Pelche this year and Huberdeau's taking a shit and all this sort of thing, this is not an environment that seems overly friendly or welcoming to young guys, at least from the coach.
No, but if you're Dustin Wolf, do you want to make $100 grand or $1 million?
I know.
And for Matthew Coronado, people get this is a very logical thing. Players have family advisors when they're in college that are agents. And what are agents' jobs? It's not to find you the place with the nicest coffee shop on your block where there's warm fuzzies. It's let's make you some money. Matthew Coronado can be a free agent and pick any team he wants to play for in the summer of 2025. That ain't soon. He could roll off year one of his entry-level contract next month. So I
understand that. Well, I guess what I'm saying,
not for you, but for a lot of people in the chat, they don't understand this. You could be on your second contract in the NHL where guys start to have a lot of leverage and get paid, or be working for like rookie signing ELC. Like,
right. What I'm saying is
financial decision.
I'm not so much about get them in the lineup. Let's start building a team that cares for each other, some guys that are feeling good. Welcome to Calgary. You're a part of what we're going to do here. Let's put you in a spot to succeed. Let's nurture you and care about these players, which is, maybe I'm overselling it, but man, we've all heard about what it's like in that locker room, and it's not a fun place to be at the best of times. If you win, don't get too fucking high on yourself. And if you're losing, what's the matter with you? Get your bleep together. I'm F-bombing and then bleeping, but you know what I'm saying? It's not an environment that's overly fun or enjoyable for guys.
But you know what you can't control that I think is one of the biggest factors is just the expectations. Everyone talked about this was a better built playoff team. And maybe they're not as good in the regular season. Like that, and last year's team that was so great in the regular season and won a round and ran into McDavid and stopped playing well in the second round. That team came into that season with what expectations? Like coin toss to make the playoffs? And the year before, they had really high expectations. It was the first year they brought in Tanev and Markstrom, and it was pandemic screwed around for sure. But no, look, this group will be fine. They fire the coach, bring in Sutter, and miss the playoffs. I really believe if they come back with a similar group, people aren't going to be saying they're going to win the Pacific and they're better in the playoffs. The whole weight of expectation, we kind of alluded to it with the Mangiapane deal, like, that's a big thing. And I don't think we acknowledge it as much as we should. And that, like, if Darryl's coaching a team that people aren't going to think make the playoffs, I don't think he's switching the lines after a loss in the 8th game of the year. Like,
maybe so, but by now, haven't you seen enough to maybe knock that down a level? that
Not what, the
expectation.
intensity?
No, just the, like devoting there were expectations and they can't live up to it, or the coach. There's been so much has been dysfunctional with this team this year.
Yeah.
They've been healthy. How many man games have they? It's not like they're without a star.
Yeah.
They've had nobody injured.
Yeah.
And their overtime record, we laughed. This is now they fall to 4-11 in overtime, 6-14 beyond regulation. They've not come back to win a game when trailing after 2. Darryl said it the other night. They're not fragile. It's not the word I would use. They don't look overly confident.
No,
they don't look like they're having fun. They don't look like there's any chemistry. And there's some lines that have been together. When your third line, when the Backlund, Coleman, Mangiapane line has by far and away been the line with the most chemistry.
Consistency. Yep.
So you've got, and that's your third line. So you've got a top 6 and you've moved guys around in and out because guys can't play with each other. And I don't know what happened behind closed doors, if Lindholm hates Huberdeau or whatever. But when Darryl said, well, Elias is our best player, we need to get him someone he likes playing with. That's a snide tongue-in-cheek.
Was playing on the line.
Tongue-in-cheek
comment. Yes. Remember, Ruzicka came up there, and what did Darryl say? Well, Lindy, he likes playing. It's a guy he likes playing with. And again,
maybe it's so easy now.
How... Like, there's blood all over here. Darryl has had so many missteps publicly this year. Never mind Milan Lucic is a second line forward for 16 games. Huh? Well, Pelche's right here. And Phillips gets less than 11 minutes, 2 games in a row on the fourth line.
And even if you don't want to go to the Phillips level,
but just didn't even
there was no way to justify having Milan on that line for long
6 weeks.
Just none.
And
that's not the reason they're where they're at.
No, it's not.
Wasn't good, and there's other things, but
coaching's been a big part of it.
It's
not everything. Part of it. Goaltending, big part of it. Not all of it. Star players coming in, getting big dough, not playing well. Big part of it. Not all of it.
Man. And to think if they'd have beaten the Ducks, you get 2 more points there. You get a point tonight. Not ideal, not ideal. So you have a 4 or 5 kind of a thing.
You picked up 9 in the last 10 points. No, you lost to the Ducks too.
Let's do a buy it or sell it. It is a presentation of Derrick Newman of Newman Dean's Real Estate Group with CIR Realty. Buying or selling, let Derrick do the work for you. Email the man, dnewman@cirrealty.ca, or call 403-619-6661. The buy it or sell it. Now, when were you on with Rhett?
Rhett and I worked last week one of the games because, they weren't
Thursday
deep
game?
into the time zone. There was something out east a little more. I'm pulling up their track record here. Okay, so it was at Minnesota. It was a 6:30 start. You did Monday Dallas because I'm a bad curler every Monday night. Tuesday you got the night off, and it was woof. They're in St. Paul. They probably got in at 1 or 2 in the morning. Wild are good, 0-0, and you're like, man. Like they overcame a lot there. That you could see how exhausted they were in the third. They find a way. They overcome that. They get some help with an overturned offside goal, and then Toffoli eventually wins it in the shootout. And the buy it or sell it after the game. They're not fucking dead. Were you buying or selling? And Rhett bought it. And I bought it because they weren't fucking dead. But my buy it or sell it tonight, Dane, after losses to Anaheim on Friday and the Coyotes tonight, they're fucking dead.
Is that a question?
Buy it or sell it. It's a statement you buy or sell.
No
see. Questions here.
So are they done? You're saying they're done?
My statement is they're fucking dead. Buy it or sell it.
Well, I mean, I like to give everyone a shot, right? I just think it's one of those things until the math says you're out. I don't think you're out. But I got to say, get your Titleists, men.
Oh,
get your clubs, get your sunglasses, get your Bahama board shorts, get ready. Because they're fucking done. They're fucking done.
You just went full Tanguay. That is unbelievable.
God. I mean, really.
Oh, wow.
The Ducks. Couldn't beat the Ducks.
Do you have a ball, Mark?
I don't know what it's not. Yeah, maybe, yeah, I don't know what it is. Anyway,
you're good.
it's all I could find on short notice. No, it's disappointing.
Great.
I said this. We've talked about it. There's nothing more fun than the City when they're on a march to the playoffs or they get into the playoffs. Even that series against Dallas, and it sucked to lose to the Oilers, but still, you had 3-4 weeks of excitement. The City was alive. And you're not going to have it again.
It was the first of what would be many Battle of Albertas to come in the postseason.
Yeah. So sadly, and it's not just points. You can trot out the numbers, but if you've watched this team and that's the thing, you don't need to have watched them all season. This has been all season. They don't win games. They don't go on winning streaks. They lose games that you cannot believe that they would lose. Ugh. And for a while, at least they're getting points, but you take it all away and you look back now, there was a lot of games that they didn't win, right? Oh, yeah. There was a lot of losses going on there. A win mixed in, kind of masqueraded. And if you look through there's an overtime loss and a shootout loss, and there's a win and there's a regulation loss and a shootout loss and an overtime loss. Yeah, one win in a stretch of 5 or 6 games. There was a bunch of that goes on. If you want, they're not a good team. They don't know how to win. They're now getting goaltending and they still can't win.
Yep. Here's an interesting little tidbit for you, Dino. At Vegas, the stupidest homestand of the year, home for 1 against Dallas, and then right back down to California for LA. Those next 3 games, like the nail's in. Like I've said, they're dead now. The Nashville's playing too well. Winnipeg's too good of a hockey team. They've shown no spine in these games, that you worry about, which ironically aren't Vegas, Dallas, and LA. Their next 3. It is Anaheim and Arizona, but
I can give you if you want, I can give you, because it's Thursday, right? Is the next game? We'll do that one together. The after
Thursday, Vegas in Vegas.
Yeah, I can do
Thursday, Vegas in Calgary.
Yeah. So, but this Thursday, it's you and I doing the show. I can give you Thursday night's buy it or sell it right now if you'd like.
Sure. Yeah.
Are they, after this loss, now with back-to-back losses or whatever it is, are they going on a complete death spiral for the remainder of the season?
No, see, that's not flamesy enough for this year. You're not thinking like the 22-23.
I know, but you know what? Maybe that's
just this whole thing.
The curtains open. It's like, and now for our final act, watch this. A kablamo.
Yeah. They don't kablamo against good teams, though. Like, when have they been shit kicked this year? That's what's so frustrating about them.
I wonder.
We really don't.
Man.
It's maddening.
So, I guess I'm buying.
Yeah. We're both going to buy that for Derrick Newman. Yeah. Apologies for the language and props, Derrick.
Sorry, Derrick.
Like he'd be buying it as well.
Yeah, like Carrot Top over here. Need my props. Derrick Newman of Newman Dean's Real Estate Group with CIR Realty. Let Derrick do the work for you. There's nothing better. You just focus on what you want in a house. In a house, if you're buying, you want to get the price you're looking for when you're selling. It's Derrick. He'll go to work for you. D Newman at cirrealty.ca or call 403-619-6661. 4-3 in overtime. The Coyotes beat the Calgary Flames. You asked before on the pre-show, can we put Connor Ingram in the group of goaltenders that we were talking about?
And I think I knew what my answer was, but I was asking you. And just to backstory, you've kept a nice catalog of names that the Flames have lost to at the other end of the rink. That goaltender.
Oh man, it's been a good, because there was Jackson Stauber with the Blackhawks, and there was Mads Sogard. There was the kid in Philadelphia.
Airson.
Yeah, Airson. Then there was Hellberg with Detroit.
Yeah.
I mean, man, you can. Yeah, I think you absolutely get to throw Connor Ingram in there because the Vag Melter is their starter. So I think Connor Ingram is at least their second or third guy.
And more than that, he was claimed off waivers to get to Arizona. He wasn't.
Laurent Brossoit, right? He's not the starter in Vegas.
He's supposed to be. He was hurt all year. I don't really count Brossoit.
Yeah.
They've
been, They've been honestly at the end when this is all said and done, as we see for a while, you kind of maybe you tiptoe around it. When this 82 is done, and you go back and look at the lack of winning streaks, the how many guys are off of not even career years, just regular years, offensive numbers for guys. Come on.
The last Lindholm conversation, again, I'll reference the article. I had to FlamesNation.ca to check it out. Some comparables. Like, he's not at 20 goals yet. Michael Backlund's at 16.
Yeah. No, the only guy offensively that you hang your hat on has been Tyler Toffoli.
Yep.
Tyler Toffoli has had a fine season.
Really good. And I don't think it'll be lost on whoever is the GM that there will not be a better sell moment on the stock for Tyler Toffoli than this summer.
Yeah.
Now, I think what they turn that into, whether that's players under contract or picks, is certainly an entirely different conversation. But I don't know that Tyler Toffoli next summer is going to sign up for more Darryl if he's still here.
How many? Yeah. Okay. So speaking of Darryl, would you like to hear from the head coach? He has spoken.
You know what? Have you seen it yet or no?
No, I have not. No.
Okay. So before we start it, let's play a little game called Dang It, Darryl. And is he going to be runs at players, upset, or is he? I thought we were fine. We got lots of shots. Need a big goal. Like what are we predicting here for Dang It, Darryl in the post game today?
I think it's going to be probably among other things, but I think he will have to have needed a big goal again. Another game where we didn't get the big goal when we needed it. That'll be my prediction.
I think he will absolutely have that. I think he will be softer than he would have been if this was December, ironically, when he was torching guys publicly. I wonder what he'll say about Nazem Kadri, who not many people in the comments liked either. It wasn't just me tonight and you, who also didn't love 91 some nights.
Well, it was pretty glaring. He had two horrendous giveaways. One led to a goal. Anyway, so let's do that. Back to Arizona. We'll hear from the head coach.
Really like our first period. Thought it was kind of inconsistent with some of our guys, but then I thought in the second we were a lot better. Made a couple adjustments in terms of getting around pucks, moving better. I think we answered back twice on goals. I think Walker's goal after I'm not sure we could have shot it or not got it in on their goal. Then Walker comes back and scores, makes it, and then irresponsible play on their power play, on our power play for the shorty goal. Then Johnny scores a big goal. So you need somebody to make the difference in overtime.
Was it more of a pace thing in the first thing you were talking about in terms?
Yeah, guys getting around pucks, guys standing still with the puck instead of skating with pucks.
Overtime, we've seen lots of patient versions of it, but how was it maybe more difficult to get the puck back once they had it tonight, or what did you see?
Well, I think the first shift, obviously, they got, they had the puck the whole minute and a half, the killer line, but then you got to get the puck and keep it. We had a couple. The next two shifts are fine, and then the overtime goal. Now, he should stay with his guy, which I'm thinking he was, and then Felch can't go. He loses his man.
Have you ever seen anything quite like the overtime situation here? You've seen a lot in this game, and certainly you've talked about it a lot, but just the irony of it all, you're seeing quite like this.
Yeah, you know what? I quite honest, you play a complete game, you shouldn't have that many overtime games, right? So that's one part of it. The next part is then you need guys to make difference. Right? When you win face-offs and you have control of the puck, you need a D-man to make a play, you need forwards to drive through, things like that. And that hasn't been consistent enough, that's for sure.
You had a couple of chances, I think 10 seconds left in regulation, and that could have...
Probably 2 or 3 there.
Yeah.
And it's hard to tell from the bench, but those are probably, and quite honestly, probably our best chances in the third, too. Yeah. I mean, they only had, I don't know what the shots were in the third, but I don't know if, other than the shorty goal, I'm not sure they had any shots, did they?
There's Darryl Sutter, courtesy of Flames.com, Flames TV. Shots were 14-3 in the third period. They traded goals, and then needed a goal in overtime.
They didn't really generate much in the third till that flurry.
Yeah,
It felt a lot like all these bad losses blend together. Dean, which one is it that I'm thinking of?
that's that one. He also mentioned the shorty. Worth mentioning that they went 0 for 2 in the power play and gave up a shorthanded goal.
Yeah, it wasn't good. And again, that's Kadri that makes the play. He notes it in that post game. Says, I mean, irresponsible play on the wall. That's didn't name names, but anyone with internet access knows that's Kadri trying to get it back to the point there, and it immediately turns into a 2-on-1. Yeah. And look, it's just not a confident group, right? When they're down in the third, it was almost like miraculous they could get one, not like, well, they're a good team. They'll stick with the process here. Like, it was just like, oof, this can be another one of these Toronto, Anaheim third periods where nothing happens, even though they're down one.
And you're so far into it now. I don't know what you expect Darryl to say or even do.
No.
Right? You're so far into this. Yeah, we gave up a shorthanded goal. We made a mistake, and we couldn't get a goal when we needed it. And it's another 1-goal loss. And you get to. He's right. If good teams probably don't play 20 games beyond regulation.
I've also got an update for Darryl. Good teams don't have a fourth liner on their second line for 6 weeks. Like, he's a part of that. He knows.
And he doesn't have any answers.
No.
I don't know that there's any coach that would necessarily right now.
At this point, there are none.
But
like, you need to run the table and get help. Come on now. That's not an option. The time for change isn't now. You needed these Markstrom saves in February where you actually had some games you played okay and the goaltending killed you. There's just not enough runway. Like, even if they look like the most flamesy things for them to actually do here, Dean, would be play really well against Vegas, Dallas, LA in their next 3.
Yeah.
And it's only going to, like, big picture make things worse. Just like in the lost stupid pandemic year when Darryl replaced Jeff Ward, they wouldn't start Louis Domingue and picked up points in games while the playoffs were happening. And they drop out of that single.
Well, you wanted Cole Sillinger.
Sillinger hole. And look, Coronado's a great player, but might be better than Sillinger. But Sillinger's been in the league 2 years.
Yeah, Sillinger's had it tough. I mean, he had a good.
I'm
good
just saying, like, if you can pick higher or lower in the draft, where would you want to be? Let's see.
I know.
This number's low and this number's high. Which one do you want? Huh?
How do you get a Brett Ritchie though? I thought he looked great tonight. What do you got? How do you get
whatever he does from 2 feet off the goal line, halfway to the corner, looks scary as shit. And when everyone else in the league does it, you're not worried. And it's every time he does it, you're like, that's going to get in somehow. And he did it here. Give him credit.
My kid poked his head in and he's like, Brett Ritchie, isn't that the guy that played? Yeah, that's him. When did that happen? Trade deadline. And he's what? Valimaki. Well, he was with the Flames, right? I think, yeah.
That's right.
It's like,
when did that happen?
Wait a minute. Connor Mackey? Isn't that? I'm like, yeah, that's the guy they kept instead of Valimaki, and now he's there anyway. So, like,
they kept the wrong one, but ended up giving them both away.
Yeah, not only did they kept the wrong one, but still Arizona got both for basically nothing, even if you don't want Mackey. It's a comedy, it's a tragedy, whatever you want it to be. What is, shoot. What is it gonna be? It's a 4-3 final in overtime. Again, what was it? The 1 goal going back to last week went off of Backlund's leg and in. That was against Anaheim. Tonight, that first goal goes
Walker Duehr, the other one bounced off.
Backlund banks it in off of one of their defensemen and in. Walker Duehr finds a way and then off his skate and in. Yeah, these are, you hear about, you got to score some greasy goals. They are doing that. It's the pretty ones that they're having a hell of a time with. It's those ones that they're really struggling with.
Weird.
So they will move on. Short trip. They'll be in Vegas on Thursday to take on the Golden Knights.
They just have a 1-game homestand in the middle of it. It's idiotic. If I told you they went Arizona, Vegas, LA, Anaheim, that would make sense, right? It's right there. They come back for 1 against Dallas and go right back. It's in the middle of those 4. Anyway.
So
if it
anyway,
actually
you
had
know,
games that
it's-
mattered, I'd really.
It is what it is.
Big
Vegas
deal.
has had a fine season. They've had goaltending. It's been a revolving door, but there they are. 90 points has them sitting ahead of the Kings and the Oilers in the Pacific. And as far as, they're the top team in the friggin' West. I don't know. I don't know how they're doing it with that team, and Mark Stone's out. Their goaltender Logan Thompson's been out. I guess that's what good teams do, is they absorb losses and play better, and other people come up and play in those roles and excel
Boy, that
with the
sounds
added
crazy.
responsibility.
I'm putting you on the spot. The Mark Stone thing doesn't sound good, but they haven't ruled him out for playoffs necessarily. It's indefinitely, and it might not be for playoffs, but they haven't said it's not for playoffs. Am I summarizing that correctly?
Yeah, I don't get the sense that this is, well, he's got to sit so Eichel can get in from a year ago.
No, it's not
right.
that.
It's not the Kucherov, the
No.
Cooch cap from
And I'm
Tampa
not even
Bay.
asking about that. I'm just wondering how serious the injury is. 'Cause it is-
I think it's something that I think it's going to cut his career short. It's a matter of when that is. I just know you talk to guys that have had back surgeries, and I know everything gets better, but like technology and science, everything improves. But I don't know necessarily with the game of hockey and back issues. Once you go in there and have a surgery, and you just want to rehab that thing, you want to try and get it stronger or do whatever you can to not
you don't want to jump in a best of 7.
to not go in there. So anyway, Vegas Thursday, then Dallas. So yeah, I am curious to see where it goes from here. I don't see it ending with a playoff spot, but your point is a good one. The one thing that you've been able to kind of bank on here and there is that they come up with good games against really good teams. They played the hell out of Boston twice. They've played Vegas. They had a lead against Vegas the last time they played them and lost. So who the hell knows?
The Rangers,
but
tough.
it does feel like it's perhaps a little too late, as I sit here in my friggin' golf garb.
Perhaps, eh?
Perhaps. Thanks to Man Deep and the family, the great folks over at BK Bowfort Liquor. That's the thing about BK Bowfort, is when you walk in there, you're not just supporting our show, you're supporting a great family-run business. Mom, dad, brothers, and Man Deep, the family. They've been running that thing for years and continue to do it. Great spot out on the west side of our city, Trans-Canada Highway across from Winsport. And Derrick Newman of Newman Dean's Real Estate Group. Derrick, he is a motivated young man. He's building this thing. He wants to be one of the top realtors in our city, and he is working his tail off to do it. Support Derrick and you send him an email, dnewman@cirrealty.ca, or call him, 403-619-6661. Good people. You and I are not, but we are very fortunate to have some good people supporting us.
See you tomorrow, I guess, Cowboy.
Yeah, can't wait to do more talking about this game.
And you know what? Can't wait to sleep on it and watch the tape again and come up with some silver linings.
Yeah, some fresh new takes for the show tomorrow. That'll do it. Back Thursday. See you, buddies. That's Afterburner.